Now, record level unemployment in the U.S. as the COVID-19 pandemic wreaks havoc on the labor market. More than 4.4 million unemployment claims have been made in the past week alone, and that's according to figures just released by the U.S. Labor Department. Close to 26 million people in total have now sought unemployment benefits over the last 5 weeks. Simon Marks joins us live now. Simon, so another week, another set of bleak numbers.
Yes, absolutely, Glenda. As expected, just to be clear about what these numbers are, they mean that 4.4 million people signed on for unemployment benefit for the first time over the past week. That is on top, of course, of the 6 million before them and the 6 million before them who signed on during the previous week. So the total number of unemployed in the United States, we can now say, is at least 26 million and probably higher, because there are people out there that may not have signed on yet, and there are people out there that have lost their livelihoods and work who are not eligible for unemployment benefits in the United States. So 26 million plus. This 4.4 million new sign-ons was pretty much in line with market expectations. Some analysts thought it might be a little bit lower, the number this week. Some analysts thought it might be a little bit higher. So 4.4 million comes right in the middle of forecasts that were made. And it demonstrates yet again, and we're learning this every single Thursday morning here in the United States, Thursday night in Singapore, just how devastating the impacts of coronavirus have been on the US jobs market.
Yeah, those numbers are certainly staggering and sobering as well, Simon. What has the US government done so far to help these workers, and is there more relief perhaps on the way?
Well, there's more relief immediately on the way, Steve, in the form of that new stimulus package that Congress is about to finalize, $484 billion in new stimulus, including more money for the payroll protection program. Now, that money will allow some of these people claiming unemployment benefit to be put back on payroll at their places of work, because once enterprises receive money from the payroll protection program, they are then promising not to lay any workers off for 2.5 months, and they are also promising to bring back any workers that they may already have furloughed. So some of those numbers could be impacted by the influence of the payment protection program receiving another $300-odd billion of money from the US government. The other thing that President Trump would argue that he's done is sign the ban on green card applications and a limit on immigration into the country for the next 60 days. He did that last night here in Washington, D.C. It does not impact guest workers. It doesn't impact workers operating in specialized fields like medicine. He's presenting it as a total ban on immigration. That is not what he's signed, but it certainly is a restriction on immigration into the United States that he says is aimed at making sure that when jobs are created here, at least over the next 60 days, they exist for American citizens and American workers.
Well, speaking of Donald Trump, the president has been pushing for a restart of the economy, but we understand that, several states, they've pushed back.
Yeah, and Donald Trump pushed back last night against a loyal Republican, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, who has moved to reopen his state with great alacrity. President Trump said he was very unhappy about news that hair salons and spas and tattoo parlors are being allowed to reopen in Georgia, and he had called the governor of Georgia to tell him that he'd gone too far. There are other governors not moving rapidly enough for President Donald Trump, and they include another usually loyal supporter of his, Governor Greg Abbott, down in Texas, who says that he wants to take his time determining how soon it might be possible to lift restrictions there. Remember that Houston has been an epicenter for coronavirus in that particular state, Dallas as well. So some governors moving quickly. President Trump says that more than 20 states are moving into phase 1 of the reopening. He says that represents more than half the American population, but there are governors out there that are definitely deliberating very carefully about what to do, because they know that it will be their political hides on the line as a result of the decisions that they make, not just the president's.
Right, thanks for that update. Simon Marks speaking to us from Washington, D.C.